Hey guys, Lytane here, and if I planned this just right, then the day this comes to air, it'll be the day before a show comes back after 8 years of being off the air. Not very many shows can do that, you know, like come back after so long off of television, but this is one of them. So today, I'm going to be looking at the original 4 seasons of Prison Break. Prison Break is a show that ran for 4 seasons between the years of 2005 and 2009 before being renewed for a 5th miniseries this year in 2017. The show centers around 2 brothers. Lincoln Burrows is a man incarcerated at Fox River and is on death row. He killed a politician and was given a death sentence, but he says that he was set up. His brother, Michael Scofield, fully believes his brother and tries to dig up evidence to get him out, but can't find anything substantial, so he instead comes up with a different idea. A more elaborate idea. A crazy idea. He is going to break his brother out of prison, and that's where we get the title from. It isn't easy to do this though, so Michael tattoos every step of his breakout onto his skin in a very elaborate and, albeit cool, tattoo. Problems arise at pretty much every step along the way, from people finding out to things going wrong. But don't worry, Michael has alternative plans every time one goes wrong, another takes its place. The other side to this story is the conspiracy surrounding Burrows and his supposed murder of Terrence Steadman, the politician. Veronica, a lawyer and ex-lover, takes on the case because she believes that he is innocent as well. As she starts investigating, she learns that this rabbit hole goes deep, with a shady company behind all of this stuff. They got Burrows put away and will stop at nothing to keep this secret safe, including killing pretty much anyone that gets close to the truth, which puts everyone in danger. Now, slight spoilers for the rest of the show if you haven't seen it, but that's just the plot for the first season. The second season has the people that broke out of the prison on the run, the third season has them back in a different prison and trying to get out of that one, and the final season has them trying to take down the company. With 4 seasons of the show to watch, they may have named it something slightly better because they aren't in prison the entire time, but still, this is Prison Break. As this is a very story-driven show, there's going to be some slight spoilers in this episode. I'm not going to do anything of the big major spoilers, none of the season finales or how the show ends or anything like that, and I'll give you fair warning if I do talk about them. But chances are I will go into some of the minor details and stuff, so you might get little spoilers anyway. And for that, I'm sorry. So let's start with the characters of the show. For the most part, each of the characters are very well written, very well acted, and have such great stage presence on the show. The main characters are definitely where this cast seems to shine. Some of the side characters are not as good and a little bit more forgettable, but that's okay because it's the main cast that you want to watch, and let's dive right in. The main star is Michael Scofield, played by Wentworth Miller. He plays a slightly autistic person that has too big of a memory and can't help but see and examine pretty much everything around him. He is so clever that he planned the entire breakout and subsequent escape down to the letter, and even has a few different plans just in case something goes wrong. He is probably the strongest and most engaging character in the show. You want him to succeed, and you know that he is doing some slightly bad things for just reasons. When he is put alongside the other, more evil characters, then you get to see his grey side, but he is always trying to do what is right for him, his brother, and his family most of all. Then there is his brother, Lincoln Burrows, played by Dominic Purcell. He is a brute, not terribly smart, but he does care for others and trusts his brother with his life. He does have a few clever moments in the show, but is mostly there as muscle. As the show goes on, he gets angrier at life and how everything bad happens to them, and it can be pretty funny at times. Also, he must be allergic to his top button because I can't recall a single time in 4 seasons where it's done up. The other characters include Sucre, which is Scofield's cellmate. They form a strong friendship over the course of the show, and it's great to see how far they go for each other. Sucre is only doing everything to get back to Maricruz, who is his one true love and their future baby. Teabag is an antagonist throughout the whole show. He is a murderer and pedophile and deserves to be locked up. He is incredibly smart and can wriggle his way in and out of many situations with just his tongue alone. He even weasels his way into the escape in the first season. He causes nothing but strife for our heroes and is always a joy to watch in his super dickhead ways. The last great character of the show is Agent Mahone, played by William Fichtner. He is an FBI agent that is on the case for the Fox River breakout in order to capture and kill all that got out. He is just as smart as Scofield, but has problems like being addicted to drugs that make him fail in some areas where Scofield excels. He is so much fun to watch and adds so much to the show in the second season. I feel though as the show went on, they weren't completely sure what to do with him as a character, so his storyline is the weakest by the end, but at the same time, I still enjoy watching watching him and, you know, watching all that he does. Now to get on to some of the weaker characters of the show. The people that break out with Scofield aren't just interesting at all. A lot of them have like very shallow backstories and stuff, and while they're okay in the show, they're just not terribly exciting and three-dimensional as some of the other characters like, you know, Scofield. But except for Tweener. Fuck Tweener. I don't like that guy. He is supposed to be a guy that's in between white and black people. So like he's a white guy that says, you know, like black catchphrases and stuff. So they call him a tweener because he's in between black and white. He is just annoying. He is so annoying, and he does so many stupid things in the show. You still feel for him as a character, especially like when you see some of his backstory, but gosh golly is he the most annoying character in the show. But they went for that. That's what they were going for. They were supposed to make him annoying. So job well done, show. Job well done. I also don't like Veronica. Oh god, is she annoying. She is like the shittest character in the entire show. Oh my god, I freaking hate her. And let me tell you why. First off, she's an idiot. Throughout the majority of the show, she's on the conspiracy side of things, so she's trying to take down and figure out how Burrows got put away and who's actually behind it and stuff, which is a legitimately interesting story. It adds so much more depth to the show than just, you know, one man trying to break out his brother. But the way that she goes about it, she's a fucking idiot. I swear to God. Oh my god, her acting is terrible. She doesn't have any range of emotion other than just boredom and slight fear. The decisions that she makes in the show are just ridiculously stupid. Some of the people that she trusts, you think, how would you even trust this person? I don't trust them, I've just met them. In the show, as they're going and searching for everybody, they meet up with a guy named Kellerman, who's actually a pretty cool character. I really enjoy him. He is a company man and he kills people. That's right, he kills people. He like straight up like pulls out a gun, bang, bang, you know, no questions asked. He gets rid of people that he thinks are a problem to the company and what they're trying to do. Veronica is one such person. So he tries to take her out through a lot of the first season and, you know, just tries to shoot at her. He kills other people around her and, you know, causes her to have some mistrust. But she doesn't have enough mistrust or enough brains or anything, because towards the end of the first season, she gets a hot lead that the politician that was murdered might not actually be murdered. So she has to follow this up, because if he's not murdered, then that means Burrows will be exonerated and everybody will live a long and happy life. Except for Scofield, who got put away in jail for a completely unrelated reason. But anyways, so she gets this information, and what does she do with it? She doesn't tell anybody. She goes there alone, in the middle of the night, in the middle of a forest. It is a house that is literally in the middle of nowhere. She doesn't have cell phone reception. She doesn't have a gun. She doesn't have anything. No one knows where she is. She has no way of contacting anybody, and she has no way of defending herself. When she has been on the run for like the good part of a season, almost getting shot and, you know, like hiding away and all these bad things happening to her, she is so incredibly dumb in this moment, just going to the guy's house and going, oh hey, I just wanted to see if you were alive. And that's where the first season ends. Like, that's like of her confronting him. She is the absolute worst character. Yeah, I was just trying to think of another character in the show that I hate more, but no, it's her. She is just ridiculously badly written, and although her story is interesting and what she's doing is interesting, her herself is just ridiculous. Like, I want to give her the middle finger. Like, fuck you, Veronica. You're the worst part about Prison Break. The other character that falls into a very big grey area is Dr. Sara Tancredi. In the first season, I legitimately like her. She has a point. She's like the doctor for Scofield, you know, in the prison, and she has like an interesting character. She has an interesting backstory. She's flawed. She likes cons for one thing. Like that's not any red flags right there. That's somebody who might be a little bit over the edge. But anyways, but at least in the first season, she has a point and she has like a full story and everything like that. But in the second season, She is shoehorned into that story, and she is the worst part about season 2. I like how they tried to set up that her and Scofield have a connection, but honestly, if you rewatch the whole show, like I did, from season 1 and season 2, their connection just like gets amplified by like a million. And it doesn't make much sense. Like, I don't know why she's really trusting him. You don't really know her motivations, and they leave each other very, very cryptic clues, and I'm surprised she even gets them. Like, honestly, if I was in this relationship, I would have either died or, like, moved on by now, because I have no idea what some of these codes and things are. But, hey, she does. She's apparently really smart, which does not come across in the first season. But in season 3, her character's even worse, and in season 4, she's just kind of there. Like, she doesn't really have much of a point. She doesn't really do much in the 4th season. She's just sort of around to say a few lines, or to give some exposition, or to, get captured or have something bad happen to her. And it's just not much. But at the end of the 4th season, her character does redeem herself a little bit with an actual cool storyline, and it even spins off its own mini movie thing, which is the actual season finale, I don't know what you want to call it, of Prison Break, and that's a legitimately interesting story, and I like that. It's just the middle part. Season 2, 3, and most of season 4 is just meh. When doing some research into this episode, I did learn that Dr. Sara Tancredi was supposed to die at the end of the 1st season. They even set it up in the 1st season to have that. So that's the reason why she felt shoehorned in the 2nd season, because honestly, she wasn't even meant to be there. But that doesn't explain her shitty storyline in the 3rd season. Well, there is a good reason for her shitty storyline in the 3rd season, but she was pregnant in real life, so she couldn't really do much in the show. So that's the reason why a 3rd season, which I forgive her for that one a little, but that doesn't explain why the 4th season is just so bleh. I don't know. Like I said, she's a bit of a grey area. She's okayly acted, but she's just not very exciting a lot of the time, so I don't know. To each their own, I guess, but she mostly annoys me, but not as bad as Veronica. Fuck you, Veronica. Fuck you, Veronica seems like a great segue to talk about the story. When they created the show, they had the 1st season down pat and the 2nd one already penciled out if they were popular, and it shows. The 1st season is very well written, with the interactions of all the characters, the twists and turns are great, and it is all very tense. The side story of the conspiracy is good as well, even if I can't stand Veronica, and everything just feels as though it leads to the next episode, building what happened before up to the season finale. It doesn't feel like this is a show filled with filler like a lot of other shows. The 2nd season has a lot of the same, with the boys on the run and high drama, with excitement everywhere. There is a little bit more action now that they are on the run, but it still feels like a great season. Aside from the tacked on Tancredi storyline, it all flows and feels great to watch. It can be a little bit far-fetched though, with all of the coincidences that just happen in the show, like characters meeting up in like different countries and stuff, but it is a show, so I don't mind. Then comes the 3rd season, which is definitely the worst of the whole bunch. Things go wrong and some characters get thrown back into another jail again. They have to break out again. The whole story just feels like a rehash of the 1st season, just worse. This is in part due to the writer strike that happened around this time, but other shows managed to survive this, but Prison Break just suffers. The final season is honestly the logical conclusion to the story, taking down the company that started it all. It has a very different vibe to the other 3 seasons, being more of like a heist show than anything else, but it is all still pretty interesting, and I like the direction of most of the characters and the twists in the final season. So I'm gonna get into some spoilers here. If you don't want any spoilers of how the show ends, then this is the timestamp that you're gonna have to manually skip to, because YouTube does not do any more fucking annotations because they're fucking idiots. And that's going to be a whole other rant video that I'm definitely going to be making. Anyways, so just go ahead to that timestamp if you don't want any spoilers. You have been warned. There are 2 things that I would like to address for the end of this show. The first is that the ending falls flat. You have been following all of these characters through all the different, ups and downs of their lives over the past 4 years of a show. from them being incarcerated to them getting free and on the run, certain characters dying, certain characters coming back to life, and the ending of it all has them trying to take down the company, like I said earlier, which is fantastic. It's the logical conclusion. They have to steal these cards called Scylla, and on the cards themselves have all the information on everything the company has ever done wrong and all the people that work for them so that it can be easily brought down. The problem of this all is that after they get everything, they don't know who to trust with all this information. This has been a recurring theme in some of the other seasons as well, because they don't know who to trust. When Veronica starts trying to trust one person, he turns out to a bad guy. When other people try to trust other people, it turns into bad guys. So even when they have information and they know what they want to do, there's no one to trust. But at the end of the show, they just pull a giant Deus Ex Machina, which is a machine of the gods, which basically means that some divine intervention comes in and pretty much fixes everything without the character's real input. They bring back a character from the dead, Paul Kellerman, who died in season 2 after he got shot in the back of a van. He has not been heard from or seen from that episode onwards, and it was really sad to see him go, but it also fit the story. Right at the end of this season, he magically comes back to life, and now he is applying to be a senator, just like his lady boss was in the first season. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, they try and explain it a little bit, like the people that actually tried to shoot at him were not shooting him, they were shooting other people or something. They just sort of brush it off. They don't give you a lot of information about it, but because he was an ex-company worker and he no longer wants to work for them, he gets the information to the right people in government, and everybody lives happily ever after, everyone gets exonerated, everything is great, fine, and dandy. But it's just so stupid. How did he come back to life? Why is he around? What was he doing for 2 years? None of these things get any kind of screen time. They just get a very little explanation and you just have to eat it up. It was just a really, really shit way for everybody to come together right at the end, only to see Kellerman save the day. Why didn't they just go to a normal TV broadcast station? Why didn't they just put it all over the internet or something like that, just to expose it to everybody? They should have been the ones, because they started it all. Not Kellerman. He was, yes, he's been there for 2 seasons, but he wasn't there trying to take down the company with everybody. He wasn't there when, characters died. He just wasn't there until the end, where he just magically fixes everything, and that pissed me off so much. For what is, in my opinion, a pretty good show, it just has an absolutely bad ending, and it just leaves a very, very sour taste in my mouth. But that was only the first out of 2 problems, so let's move on to the second. The other problem is again with the ending. They made a mini movie as a final episode that is set just before the end of the show. Now, the biggest part about the end of the show is that they had the balls to kill Scofield off right at the end because he was sick. It is a bittersweet way to end the story, but then this is added on as a final idea and story before Scofield's death. The story itself is fine and finishes off some of the final loose ends that needed to be dealt with, and it also has a great plot with Tancredi that is better than everything else she did in the rest of the season 4. Honestly, it's a good long episode, but here is my problem. They kill Scofield. I know that he dies, as this is set just before the season finale and they visit his grave, whereas the other episode left it up to your imagination as how he died, though it is implied it was because of the tumor. It was a nice send-off. All of the main characters go to visit his grave, and it's just this sweet finale that everyone is together and alive and exonerated and happy and everything because of Scofield's sacrifice. It is just this great, great ending. But in this extended episode, he sacrifices himself to save Sara, electrocuting himself. It's a heroic way to die for sure, but it's also out of character and makes the ending feel cheap. I don't really like it, and what's worse is that the plot for the upcoming season 5 of Prison Break says that his death was faked. How did they fake electrocution? At least the original ending, you could say it was a fake out because you never actually saw his death, but with the new one, you see him get electrocuted. They explicitly state how deadly Scofield's action will be, but oh well, I look forward to seeing how they deal with this. Alright, so that's the end of the spoilers, so let's get on with the review. Prison Break, as an entire show, is, in my opinion, worth it. Season 3 is pretty bad, and Season 4 is just, alright, but I would say that the overall show is a strong one. You get tied to all of the different characters in the show, from Sucre to Scofield to Burrows, even Teabag and his dickhead ways. The first 2 seasons is where this show really does shine, because all of the plot and everything is just so interconnected, and it just feels like it's flowing on from one episode to another. Nothing ever feels like a filler, and nothing ever feels like it's wasted. Both of the stories in this mesh really well together, from the conspiracy side and the breakout and the boys side, and by the end of it both are one, and that's really, really cool, and it's really hard to do in my opinion. There is a reason why this show has been renewed for a 5th season. It's because the first 4 seasons were honestly very good. It was a fun show. It didn't stay too long. It just had 4 seasons and then it ended. It didn't try and stay on for 40 seasons like other shows have done. So I'm very proud of them for choosing to end it so soon. And I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do in the 5th season. So I'm going to be tuning in tomorrow just like everybody else. So guys, don't forget to tell me in the comments below what you thought about Prison Break. Have you ever watched it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think they should have called it something different because they only break out of prison 2 out of 4 seasons? Well, whatever you think, write it in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But every time one goes wrong, he nother is not a word. Okay, fine, we'll keep her on for the show and that's stuff. I don't know where I was going with that sentence. Boys on the Run. The 2nd season has a lot of the same, with the boys on the run and high drama and excitement. There are 2 things, because I'm fucking gangster. That was 3. Damn it!